He's been in a wheelchair for nearly a decade after being shot in the head by a now suspended Chicago police officer. But the city of Chicago has spent that time and millions in taxpayer dollars fighting to disprove that.
Now the city wants his help proving the officer did in fact pull the trigger and lied about it for years. It's a story the CBS 2 investigators have been on top of since the beginning. CBS 2 investigator Megan Hickey begins our team coverage as the city continues to pour money into this case. Megan.
Right, the city's attorneys took this matter before a Cook County judge today, asking that Michael LaPorta be required to testify, but his family says that will be mentally and physically challenging for him after being shot in the head, and that this is a waste of public resources. In January of 2010, police were called to Officer Patrick Kelly's home and found Mikey LaPorta with a gunshot wound to the head. Kelly claimed LaPorta had shot himself with the officer's gun in a suicide attempt. It wasn't until 2017 that the case was revisited, and investigators found that Kelly had pulled the trigger and then lied about it for 9 years. That's when then Superintendent Eddie Johnson moved to fire him.
Now they're believing it, but you know, it took this long. I mean, 11 years is a long time for your life to go by. You're 29 and all of a sudden you're 40?
Mikey's mother, Patty LaPorta, proudly shared this video of her son's latest achievement, standing up. Mikey suffered a traumatic brain injury, the bullets still lodged in his head, which is why she says his extensive testimony in 2017 was difficult enough.
He knows what he wants to say, but he can't say it.
And he's already said it. He's already said it to a court.
I know. So we've gone through it enough. Please. You know, this is enough.
But attorneys for the city today argued that there may be some legal complications for using his prior testimony or depositions in this case, which is why they're asking him to speak again at Kelly's upcoming disciplinary hearing.
The city wants Mikey LaPorta to help them in terminating one of their worst officers on the police force, but then again, will not pay the judgment that they owe him.
Romanucci is talking about the record-breaking $44.7 million settlement awarded by a federal jury to LaPorta in 2017.
He has not seen 1 cent of it.
Now, Kelly's attorneys objected to the police board hearing being held over Zoom. Right now, that hearing is scheduled for October 26th through the 30th. Now, the Cook County judge essentially kicked that decision back to the police board level, that decision to make LaPorta testify, saying that the issue was premature in circuit court.
Megan, thank you.
CBS 2 investigator Dave Savini joins us now.
Now, Dave, you've been digging into Officer Patrick Kelly for most of the last decade. He's cost taxpayers millions of dollars. This is not the only case against him. He's suspended without pay, but still officially on the force.
That's right, Brad. Patrick Kelly is a perfect example of how hard it is to fire a Chicago police officer and keep them fired. You know, this happened 10 years ago, and this police board hearing is still ongoing. This despite dozens of citizen complaints and numerous lawsuits. Let's go back to 2014 when he allegedly shot a man to death named Hector Hernandez. He's being sued for that case as well. Taxpayers are paying for that defense in that case. He's also lost a case. There was a settlement in the case of a woman named Elena Turner who was pregnant when Kelly used a taser on her over a parking space. He was trying to tow her car allegedly for parking illegally, and she asked to get her car seat out of the car, and she was tasered in the belly and had a miscarriage shortly thereafter. That case was $500,000 in taxpayer dollars, Brad.
So, Dave, when it comes to the LaPorta case, why is the city appealing the $45 million verdict, and on what basis are they doing this?
The city is trying to appeal the federal decision on the basis that they believe because Patrick Kelly was off duty when the shooting occurred, that they should not be held liable. This despite lawyers Romanucci and Blandin proving in court to a jury and getting a decision that they did feel the city was responsible to the tune of $45 million.
And as the counselor said, he hasn't seen a dime of that yet. You've been interviewing the victim, Mikey LaPorta, and his family for years. What has all this waiting done to the family, Dave?
Well, this has devastated them all. In addition to Mikey, his mother and father have serious health problems and they have to take care of him. The money could have been used to help him there. He's still technically a member of the Chicago Police Department. That upsets them. And sadly tonight for them, they learned that the state's attorney's office in Cook County has decided not to pursue criminal charges against Patrick Kelly. Probably the final blow to this family right now.
All right. Thank you, Dave, for staying on top of this. You can watch his previous stories on our website, cbschicago.com, then click on the Investigator tab.